I still remember the way she looked at me that night, or rather, the way she didn't. Her engagement party was a spectacle. White roses everywhere. Champagne towers. Her fiancé's hand resting possessively on her waist like he owned her. Maybe he did. Maybe I never really had a chance at all. I came because I promised her once, back when promises still meant something between us. I came because some part of me, the foolish, hopeful part, thought maybe she'd see me and remember. Remember the nights we stayed up painting the sky with words. Remember the way she used to say my name like it was a prayer. But when I walked in, her eyes slid right past me. Not with cruelty. Not with regret. With nothing. Like I was a stranger. Like I was furniture. Like I had never mattered at all. That's when I saw her cousin across the room. Maya. The girl who always asked about my art, who texted me when Emma stopped replying, who told me once, you deserve someone who sees you. So I made a choice. Right there. In front of everyone. I walked up to Maya, dropped to one knee, and pulled out the ring I'd been carrying for 2 years, the one I'd bought for Emma. Emma's champagne glass shattered on the marble floor. And for the first time that night, she finally looked at me. The rain came without warning that Thursday, the kind that turns city streets into mirrors and makes everyone run for cover. I didn't run. I was already inside the Westmore Gallery, staring at paintings I didn't understand, trying to find whatever inspiration Professor Chen insisted I needed. Your work is technically proficient, he'd said last week, tapping my canvas with his pen. But it's empty. Go find something that makes you feel. I felt plenty. I felt broke. I felt tired. I felt like a fraud pretending to be an artist when I could barely afford paint. Then I saw her. She stood in front of a massive canvas, a house engulfed in flames, violent oranges and reds consuming white walls. The artist had titled it Necessary Destruction. I'd walked past it twice already, uncomfortable with its rawness. But she stood there like she was having a conversation with it. Head tilted. Arms crossed. Completely still except for the slight movement of her breathing. I don't know what possessed me to walk over. Maybe it was the way the gallery lights caught in her dark hair. Maybe it was the fact that she looked as out of place as I felt, young, uncertain, searching. Do you think it's about destruction or rebirth? She asked without turning around. Her voice was soft but certain, like she'd been waiting for someone to answer a question she'd been carrying all day. I stopped beside her, close enough to smell rain and something floral. Jasmine, maybe. Maybe both, I said, studying the painting with new eyes. Maybe you can't have one without the other. She turned then, and I saw her face for the first time. Not beautiful in the conventional sense, her nose was slightly crooked, her eyebrows uneven, but striking. The kind of face that made you want to keep looking, to figure out why you couldn't look away. That's what I thought too, she said, smiling. Not at me, at the painting. But somehow it felt like the same thing. Everyone else sees tragedy. But I see possibility. Maybe that's the point, I offered. Artists love duality. Are you an artist? She finally looked directly at me, brown eyes bright with curiosity. I'm trying to be, I admitted. Right now I'm just a broke student who paints in his kitchen. She laughed, genuinely, not the polite kind. I'm Emma. Literature major. Professional overthinker. Liam. Professional underpaid creative. We shook hands. Hers was warm despite the cold rain outside. What happened next wasn't planned. We didn't mean to spend 3 hours wandering through the gallery, debating every piece. She told me about the poetry she loved, Neruda, Plath, Ocean Vuong. I told her about my obsession with Egon Schiele's raw, uncomfortable figures. Art should make you feel something, I said as we stood before a sculpture of intertwined hands. Even if it hurts? She asked. Especially if it hurts. That's how you know it's real. She studied me then, the same way she'd studied the burning house. Like she was trying to understand something essential. We ended up in the gallery cafe, drinking overpriced coffee neither of us could afford. She told me she was writing a thesis on memory in contemporary fiction. I told her I was failing half my classes because I spent more time painting than studying theory. What do you paint? She asked, leaning forward. Feelings, mostly. I'm not good at landscapes or portraits. I paint the moment right before someone says something they can't take back. The space between wanting and having. The color of regret. Her eyes widened. That's beautiful. That's pretentious, I corrected, embarrassed. No, she insisted. That's honest. Most people are too afraid to be honest. The rain had stopped by the time we left. The city smelled like wet pavement and possibility. I should go, she said, checking her phone. I have a seminar in the morning. Yeah. I should too. Work on that inspiration thing. We stood there awkwardly, two strangers who'd shared too much too fast. Then she pulled out her museum ticket and a pen from her bag. She wrote something quickly and handed it to me. Her number. 10 digits that would change everything. Don't lose it, she said, smiling that smile that wasn't quite at me but felt like it was. I won't, I promised. I kept that ticket in my wallet for 2 years. Through everything that came after, the love, the betrayal, the destruction. I kept it even after she told me I was too intense, that we needed space, that she couldn't do this anymore. I should have burned it like that house in the painting. But I kept it. Because back then, standing in the rain-cleaned street with her number in my hand, I still believed in rebirth. I believed that destruction could lead to something beautiful. I believed that she was my necessary destruction. I was right about the destruction part. I just didn't know yet that I'd be the one burning. The first 6 months with Emma felt like breathing after being underwater my whole life. I didn't know I'd been drowning until she pulled me to the surface. We became inseparable in that dangerous, intoxicating way that makes everyone else disappear. My roommate complained that I was never home. Her friends joked that she'd been replaced by a paint-splattered doppelganger. We didn't care. She started showing up at my studio, a generous word for the converted garage I rented for $200 a month, unannounced, carrying coffee and questions about color theory she'd researched just to understand my world better. Why do you use so much Prussian blue? She asked one afternoon, perched on my paint-stained couch, watching me work. It's the color of loneliness, I said without thinking. But also depth. The ocean at midnight. The feeling right before you tell someone you love them. She was quiet for a moment. Then, have you ever told someone you loved them? I stopped painting. Turned to look at her. I'm telling you right now. Her coffee cup paused halfway to her lips. You didn't say the words. I'm showing you. Isn't that better? She smiled, but her eyes glistened. Say it anyway. I love you, Emma Hartley. I love the way you overthink everything. I love that you bring me coffee even though you know I prefer tea. I love that you see rebirth in burning houses. I love you too, she whispered. Even though you're impossible and moody and you get paint in your hair and don't notice for days. I laughed, and she kissed me, tasting like caramel macchiato and forever. She read me her drafts, short stories she was too scared to submit anywhere, vulnerable pieces about mothers and daughters, about memory and loss. I listened to every word, watching the way her voice changed when she read dialogue, the way she held her breath before revealing an ending. This one, I said after she finished a story about a woman who collected other people's photographs. Submit this one. It's perfect. It's not ready, she protested. Art is never ready. You just have to be brave enough to show it anyway. She submitted it. It got published in a small literary magazine. She cried when she got the acceptance email, and I held her, thinking, this is what happiness feels like. We argued about everything, whether Van Gogh was a genius or just heartbroken, whether plot or character mattered more, whether suffering made art better or just made artists miserable. Van Gogh was both, she insisted one night, wine-drunk and passionate. Genius and heartbroken. You can't separate them. But does it matter? I challenged. The world remembers the sunflowers, not the severed ear. The ear makes the sunflowers meaningful, she shot back. Without the pain, they're just pretty flowers. Maybe pretty flowers are enough. Not for you, she said, suddenly serious. You'd never paint pretty flowers. You'd paint the moment right before they die. She was right. She was always right about me. I painted her 17 times that year. Not portraits, I could never capture her face the way I wanted to. Instead, I painted the feeling of her. The way sunlight hit her collarbone when she read by my window. The curve of her wrist when she wrote in her journal, pen moving like music. The shadow she cast when she stood in my doorway, hesitating before stepping inside, like she was asking permission to take up space in my life. You're turning me into abstracts, she teased, looking at a canvas of burgundy and gold swirls. I'm painting the truth of you. Your face is just the surface. So I'm a feeling? Your every feeling. She called me her muse once, sitting cross-legged on my studio floor, writing in her notebook while I worked. I laughed. Muses don't create. They inspire. Exactly, she said, looking up at me with those endless brown eyes. You inspire me to be better. To write braver. To stop hiding. I knelt beside her, took her face in my paint-stained hands. You make me believe I'm actually an artist. Not just someone who plays with colors. You are an artist, she said firmly. The realest one I know. I believed her. God, I believed her so completely. She introduced me to her family that summer. Her mother, Carol, loved me immediately, hugged me too tight and made too much food and asked too many questions about my intentions. I intend to love your daughter until I forget how to breathe, I said honestly. Carol's eyes filled with tears. Good answer. Her father, Richard, was harder. He asked about my prospects, my 5-year plan, my financial stability. I had none of those things. Just paint and passion and a belief that love was enough. He tolerated me. Barely. But her cousin Maya, she hugged me tight after dinner and whispered, finally. Someone who makes her light up. I thought I had found my forever. I thought I was writing the first chapter of a love story that would last a lifetime. I didn't realize I was just a chapter in someone else's story. A rough draft she'd revise out later. A character she'd kill off when he stopped serving the plot. It started small. The kind of small you convince yourself doesn't mean anything. The kind of small that grows in the dark until it's too big to ignore. Emma stopped coming to the studio. I'm swamped with my thesis, she said when I asked. You understand, right? I understood. Of course I understood. Graduate school was intense. I gave her space. Then she stopped answering texts during the day. Then entire evenings disappeared into silence. Then weekends became I need to focus, and I'm behind on everything, and can we talk later? Later never came. When I asked if something was wrong, she smiled, but it was wrong. A stranger's smile. Polite. Distant. I'm fine. Just stressed. You know how it is. I didn't push. I should have pushed. I should have demanded the truth right then. Should have said, look at me and tell me we're okay. Should have trusted my gut instead of her smile. But I was afraid. Afraid that pushing would break something that was already cracking. One night, I saw her at Sullivan's Bar, the trendy place near campus where grad students pretended they could afford $12 cocktails. I wasn't stalking her. I was meeting my roommate Jake there. Pure coincidence. Except there she was, at a corner table, surrounded by people I didn't recognize. Designer clothes. Confident laughs. The kind of people who looked like they belonged in the world while I still felt like I was faking it. She was leaning into a guy in a suit. Laughing at something he said. Her hand on his arm. I texted her, hey, you out tonight? I watched her check her phone. Watched her glance at the screen and slide it face down on the table. No reply. That your girl? Jake asked, following my gaze. I don't know anymore, I admitted. I left before she could see me. Told myself it was nothing. That I was being paranoid. That love meant trust, and trust meant not questioning every little thing. But the little things kept adding up. She started criticizing my art. Not constructively. Not the way she used to, asking questions that made me think deeper. This was different. It's too raw, she said, staring at a piece I'd spent weeks on, a chaotic swirl of reds and blacks I'd titled Necessary Violence. Raw is the point, I said defensively. But who wants to buy this? Who wants this in their home? She turned to me, arms crossed. You need to think about commercial appeal. You can't build a life on passion alone. The words hit like ice water. You sound like my father, I said quietly. Maybe your father had a point, she replied, voice cold. Maybe it's time to grow up. Grow up. Like loving what I did was childish. Like creating honestly was something to outgrow. I stared at her, trying to find Emma, my Emma, in this stranger's face. Who are you? I asked. I'm someone who wants a real future. Not a fantasy. The worst part? I started doubting myself. I looked at my paintings and saw flaws instead of soul. I saw chaos instead of truth. I saw a broke kid playing artist while the real world moved on without him. I started sketching safer things. Landscapes. Still lives. Flowers that weren't dying. Things that wouldn't make people uncomfortable. Things that could sell. Emma nodded approvingly when she saw them. See? You're growing. But I wasn't growing. I was shrinking. Erasing myself one brushstroke at a time, trying to become someone she could love again. I painted over necessary violence with a sunset. Soft oranges and pinks. Pretty. Meaningless. Emma said it was my best work yet. I wanted to vomit. Jake found me in the studio one night, staring at blank canvases, unable to start. "What happened to you, man?" he asked. "I'm evolving," I said. "You're disappearing," he corrected. He was right. I was becoming a ghost in my own life. A supporting character in Emma's story about becoming successful, sophisticated, better. I just didn't know yet how completely I'd vanish. Or how much it would hurt when she finally erased me altogether. I found out about Marcus at her book launch. The universe has a cruel sense of timing. Emma had finally finished her short story collection, *Fragments of Memory*, she called it. The same collection I'd helped her edit at 2 a.m., reassuring her through panic attacks that her words mattered, that she was talented, that the world needed to hear her voice. She didn't invite me to the launch. I found out through Instagram. A glossy promotional post, joined me in celebrating the release of my debut collection. 7 p.m. at the Riverside Literary House. No text. No call. Just a public announcement I stumbled across while scrolling at midnight, unable to sleep because Emma hadn't answered my messages in 3 days. I stared at that post for an hour. Read the comments. So proud of you, can't wait to read it, you're amazing, Someone commented, will Marcus be there? Smiling face with heart-shaped eyes, Marcus? I bought a ticket. $40 I couldn't afford. Showed up in the only button-down shirt I owned, paint still under my fingernails. The venue was beautiful. Exposed brick. String lights. A crowd of well-dressed people holding wine glasses, murmuring about literary theory and publishing contracts. I stood in the back, hidden behind a column. Emma looked stunning. Hairstyled. Makeup perfect. Wearing a black dress I'd never seen before, the kind that costs more than my monthly rent. She looked like she belonged there. Like she'd finally found her people. I didn't recognize her. The host introduced her, Emma Hartley, whose raw, vulnerable prose explores love, loss, and the art of letting go. She thanked everyone. Her voice steady. Confident. I want to thank my professor, Dr. Chen, for pushing me to be fearless, check. My editor, Sandra, for believing in these stories, check. And my boyfriend, Marcus, the lawyer who believed in me from the start and supported me through every doubt. Boyfriend. The word detonated in my chest. She was smiling at him, the suit from the bar. He sat in the front row, looking proud. Possessive. I couldn't breathe. She continued, talking about inspiration and vulnerability and truth, and I wanted to scream. Wanted to stand up and shout, I was there. I believed in you first. I held you while you cried over rejection letters. But I stayed silent. Frozen. Until the Q&A. We have time for a few questions, the host announced. My hand went up before I could stop it. Yes, in the back? People turned. Emma's eyes found mine. Her face went pale. This is for Emma, I said, voice steady despite the earthquake in my chest. Your story, the one about the artist who gave up everything for love, who slowly erased himself trying to be enough, was that based on anyone real? The room went silent. Emma gripped the podium. It's fiction. Just fiction. But you always said the best fiction comes from truth, I pressed. So whose truth is it? Her jaw tightened. I don't think. Because that artist sounds a lot like someone who spent a year helping you edit this collection. Someone who believed in you when you didn't believe in yourself. Someone you forgot to thank just now. Whispers rippled through the crowd. Marcus stood up. Hey man, this isn't appropriate. What's inappropriate, I said, is stealing someone's pain and calling it art. Is that what writers do? Use people and erase them from the acknowledgements. Emma's eyes filled with tears. Liam, please. I'm happy for you, Emma. Really. You got everything you wanted. Success. Sophistication. A lawyer boyfriend who probably has a 401k. I smiled, bitter. I hope it was worth it. I left before anyone could respond. Before I could see the damage I'd caused. Before I could take it back. My phone exploded with texts before I even made it to the subway. Asterisk asterisk Emma asterisk 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 you embarrass me dot asterisk. Not asterisk I'm sorry dot asterisk not asterisk let me explain dot asterisk not asterisk you're right, I should have acknowledged you dot asterisk. Just blame. Asterisk asterisk Emma asterisk 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 that was cruel and petty and you ruined my night dot asterisk. Asterisk asterisk Emma asterisk 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 Marcus is furious. My publisher thinks I'm unprofessional dot asterisk. Asterisk asterisk Emma asterisk 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 how dare you make this about you dot asterisk. I blocked her number on the train ride home. Deleted Instagram. Deleted our photos. Deleted 2 years of evidence that we'd ever existed. It should have ended there. I should have walked away clean. But pain doesn't end when you want it to. It lingers. It waits. And 6 months later, when that gold-embossed engagement invitation arrived in my mailbox, I realized it wasn't over at all. Some stories don't end. They just find new ways to hurt you. Maya reached out 2 weeks after the book launch. I almost didn't answer when I saw her name on my phone. I assumed she was calling to defend Emma, to tell me I'd been cruel, to make me the villain in their family narrative. But her first words were, I heard what happened. I'm so sorry. Not how could you, not you embarrassed her. Just sorry. Can we meet for coffee? She asked. I think we should talk. We met at a small cafe in Brooklyn, the kind with mismatched furniture and art from local students covering the walls. She was already there when I arrived, sitting by the window, looking nervous. Thanks for coming, she said as I sat down. I wasn't sure I should. Emma doesn't know I'm here, she admitted. She'd probably kill me if she did. Then why are you here? Maya looked at me directly. She had Emma's eyes, the same warm brown, but where Emma's had grown distant and calculating, Maya's held something else. Honesty. Because what she did to you was wrong, Maya said simply. And nobody in our family is saying it, so I am. Something in my chest cracked. I don't understand what happened to her, I said quietly. She used to be different. She used to be herself, Maya said. Now she's trying to be someone she thinks she should be. It's like she looked at her life and decided nothing was good enough. Including you. Especially me. That says more about her than you. Maya stirred her coffee. I read her book, you know. The story about the artist. I knew it was you immediately. Did she use my words? My actual words? Maya nodded. Almost verbatim in some parts. Things you probably told her in confidence. Your fears about not being good enough, about your father calling art a hobby, about feeling like a fraud. My hands clenched around my cup. She turned my pain into her art and didn't even have the decency to tell me. I know. And for what it's worth, that story? It was the best one in the collection. The most honest. The reviewers said so too. Great. My suffering makes good literature. Hey. Maya reached across the table, touched my hand. You're allowed to be angry. You're allowed to feel used. Don't let anyone tell you you're being dramatic or petty. What she did was betrayal. I'd been holding it together for weeks. But hearing someone validate my pain, someone from Emma's own family, broke something open. I cried. Actually cried in a public cafe, tears falling into overpriced coffee while strangers pretended not to notice. Maya didn't look away. Didn't tell me to calm down. Just handed me napkins and waited. You deserve better, she said when I finally composed myself. That's what everyone says. But what if I don't? What if she was right, and I was just too intense, too much, too? Stop. Maya's voice was firm. Emma's afraid of depth. She wants the aesthetic of passion without the actual discomfort of feeling things. You scared her because you were real. So being real means ending up alone? Being real means finding someone who isn't afraid of real. We started meeting regularly after that. Coffee every Thursday, like our own small ritual. Not romantically, at least not at first. Just honestly. She asked about my art. Told me I was crazy for stopping the raw stuff. Said the world needed more truth, not more pretty lies. Emma used to say the opposite, I admitted one day. She said my work was too intense. Too uncomfortable. Emma's afraid of being seen, Maya said. You're not. That's why you scared her. I didn't understand it then, but I do now. Emma wanted to be admired from a distance. Wanted to present a curated version of herself, successful, sophisticated, controlled. But I painted the messy parts. The vulnerable parts. The parts she wanted to hide. I made her confront herself. And she hated me for it. Maya was different. She didn't hide. When she talked about her failed relationship, about dropping out of law school to pursue photography, about disappointing her parents, she didn't dress it up or make it palatable. She just told the truth. My family thinks I'm wasting my potential, she said one afternoon, showing me her portfolio on her phone. But I'd rather be a wasted potential doing what I love than successful doing something that kills me inside. These are incredible, I said, stunned by her work. Black and white street photography, capturing moments of raw humanity, a child crying on a subway platform, an elderly couple holding hands in a crosswalk, a homeless man feeding pigeons with the gentlest smile. You see people, I said. Really see them. So do you, she replied. That's why your art matters. When I finally painted again, really painted, the kind that made my hands shake and my heart race, she was the first person I showed. It was chaos. Violent reds and deep blacks, gold cracks running through like kintsugi, titled What Remains. Maya stood in front of it for a full minute, silent. This, she finally breathed. This is who you are. It's angry, I said. It's honest. Anger is honest. You're not afraid of it? She looked at me. Why would I be afraid of the truth? I didn't fall in love with her all at once. It wasn't lightning. It was gradual, like ice melting, like winter becoming spring without you noticing the exact moment it changed. It was the way she listened, not just to respond, but to understand. It was the way she saw my anger and didn't ask me to calm down. It was the way she existed in her own skin, unapologetic and unafraid. It was the way she made me remember who I was before I started erasing myself. 6 months after that first coffee, she kissed me in my studio, paint dust in the air, sunset coming through the broken blinds. Is this okay? She whispered. I don't know, I admitted. I don't want to use you to get over her. I'm not worried about that. Why not? Because you see me, she said simply. You don't see her replacement. You see me. She was right. Emma had become a ghost. A memory of pain. But Maya was real. Present. Unafraid. She was sunlight after a long winter. And I was finally ready to feel warm again. The engagement invitation came on a Tuesday, delivered in a cream-colored envelope with gold embossing so thick I could feel it with my fingertips. Asterisk Emma Hartley and Marcus Chen request the honor of your presence at their engagement celebration. Asterisk. I stared at it for an hour. Sat at my kitchen table, coffee going cold, just staring at those elegant letters like they were written in a language I'd forgotten how to read. Why would she invite me? Closure? Some twisted sense of etiquette? A final twist of the knife to prove she'd won. She got the successful lawyer, the book deal, the life she wanted, while I was still painting in a garage. Or maybe she wanted me to see her happiness. Wanted me to witness what I wasn't enough to give her. Maya found me still sitting there when she came over that evening, invitation in my hand like evidence of a crime. Don't go, she said immediately. I have to. Why? She sat across from me, took my hand. Liam, why would you do that to yourself? Because I need to see it. See her. See that it's really over. It's been over. You're the only one still holding on. I'm not holding on, I protested. Then why do you still have her number memorized? Why do you still check her Instagram even though you deleted yours? Why do you still have that museum ticket in your wallet? I didn't answer. Couldn't. Maya's voice softened. Baby, she doesn't deserve this power over you. She doesn't deserve any part of you anymore. I know. Then don't go. Stay here. Stay with me. Let her get married and be happy and have nothing to do with us. She was right. I knew she was right. But some part of me, some stupid, broken part, needed to see Emma one last time. Needed to look at her and feel nothing. Needed proof that I'd healed. I'm going, I said quietly. I'm sorry. Maya's eyes filled with tears. If you go, you're choosing her. Again. I'm choosing closure. You're choosing pain. She stood up, grabbed her bag. Call me when you figure out which one of us you actually want. She left before I could explain. I sat alone in my apartment, invitation in one hand, phone in the other, Maya's number on the screen. I didn't call. Instead, I went to my studio and pulled out the small velvet box I'd hidden in my paint drawer 2 years ago. The ring. I'd bought it the month before everything fell apart. Back when Emma and I talked about future apartments and joint studio spaces and what we'd name our kids. Back when I thought forever was a promise, not a threat. It was simple, a small sapphire, because she said diamonds were boring. I'd spent 3 months' rent on it. Skipped meals to save money. Worked double shifts at the campus coffee shop. I never got to give it to her. I'd carried it through the breakup, through the book launch confrontation, through the first months with Maya. Couldn't bring myself to return it. Couldn't bring myself to throw it away. Some part of me thought maybe Emma would see me and remember. Remember what we had. Remember that I'd been real, even if she'd decided I wasn't enough. I held the ring up to the light, watching the sapphire catch fire. Maya was right. I was choosing pain. But maybe I needed one last hurt before I could finally heal. I put the ring in my jacket pocket. The engagement party was at the Riverside Estate, the kind of venue with valet parking and ice sculptures and champagne fountains. I showed up in my only suit, feeling like an imposter among people who belonged in magazine spreads. Emma looked radiant. Literally glowing in a white cocktail dress, diamond bracelet catching light, Marcus's arm around her waist like a claim. She saw me immediately. Her smile faltered for just a second, a crack in the perfect facade. Then she recovered. Walked over with Marcus in tow, champagne glass in hand. Liam. You came. Her voice was controlled. Polite? Congratulations, I said. You look happy. I am happy. She glanced at Marcus. We both are. Marcus extended his hand. Marcus Chen. I don't think we've officially met. I shook it. His grip was firm. Possessive. Liam. The ex. Marcus's smile didn't reach his eyes. Emma's mentioned you. Nothing good, I'm sure. Actually, Emma interjected, I was just telling Marcus how you helped with my early drafts. You were supportive. Back then. Like I was a phase. A rough draft. Well, I'm glad I could contribute to your success, I said, bitterness seeping through. Emma's jaw tightened. Is there something you want to say, Liam? Everything. Nothing. I wanted to ask if she ever loved me or if I was just inspiration. Wanted to ask if she thought about me when she cashed her advance check. Wanted to ask if Marcus knew how much of her book was stolen from my pain. But Maya was somewhere across town, probably crying, probably done with me. And I was here, at my ex's engagement party, holding a ring in my pocket like a fool. No, I said finally. Nothing to say. Enjoy your night. I turned to walk away. That's when I saw Maya. She was standing near the entrance, in a simple black dress, eyes red like she'd been crying. She'd come anyway. Our eyes met across the room, and something shifted. Some fundamental truth clicked into place. Emma was my past. Beautiful and painful and over. Maya was my present. My future. My choice. The ring in my pocket suddenly felt different. Not like a ghost. Like a second chance. I didn't plan it. Didn't think. I just walked over to Maya, dropped to one knee in the middle of Emma's engagement party, and pulled out the ring. The room went silent. Emma's gasp cut through the air like glass breaking. Maya, I said, voice steady, heart pounding like it was trying to escape my chest. You've shown me what it means to be seen. To be valued. To be loved for exactly who I am, not who someone wants me to become. You've been patient with my pain. You've celebrated my truth. You've made me remember what it feels like to breathe. Tears streamed down Maya's face. I know this is crazy, I continued. I know it's dramatic and impulsive and completely insane. But I also know that life is too short to wait for the perfect moment. You taught me that. You taught me to be brave. I held up the ring, the sapphire catching light, catching fire. Will you marry me? The moment I asked the question, the world fractured into before and after. Before, I was a ghost haunting my own life, unable to move forward, unable to let go. After was Maya's face, tears and shock and something that looked like understanding. Yes, she whispered. The room exploded. Gasps. Whispers. Someone dropped a champagne glass. The sound of crystal shattering echoed like punctuation. I slipped the ring onto Maya's finger. It fit perfectly, like it had been waiting for her all along. Emma's scream cut through the chaos. You can't be serious. Her voice was shrill, unrecognizable. This is my engagement party. I stood, Maya's hand still in mine, and looked at Emma for the first time that night, really looked at her. She was furious. Mascara starting to run. Chest heaving. The perfect facade cracking in real time. You ignored me, I said quietly, but my voice carried in the sudden silence. For months, you made me feel invisible. Made me feel like I was crazy for needing you. Made me feel like I was too much, too intense, too real. That's not, she started. You erased me from your book. From your life. From your story. I squeezed Maya's hand. So I stopped waiting for you to see me. I found someone who already did. Marcus grabbed Emma's arm. Emma, let it go. This isn't worth it. But she couldn't. She shoved past him, stumbling slightly in her heels, makeup ruined, pointing at me like I'd committed murder. You did this to hurt me. You proposed to my cousin to ruin my night. I proposed to Maya because I love her, I said calmly. Your night has nothing to do with it. Bullshit. Emma's voice broke. You brought that ring, my ring, to my party. It was never your ring, I interrupted. You never gave me the chance to offer it. You left before I could. Maya spoke for the first time, her voice steady despite the tears. Emma, I'm sorry this happened at your party. But I'm not sorry I said yes. Emma turned to her cousin, betrayal written across her face. How could you? He's my ex. Your family. And you treated him like garbage, Maya said. Family doesn't mean I have to defend you when you're wrong. I wasn't wrong. He was suffocating. He was needy and broke and going nowhere. He was honest, Maya cut her off. He loved you honestly, and you punished him for it because honesty scared you. Emma's mother appeared, trying to calm the situation. Girls, please. Let's not make a scene. Too late for that, someone muttered. Emma turned to me one last time, mascara streaked down her cheeks, voice desperate. You're doing this for revenge. To make me look bad. To ruin the one good thing I have. I looked at her, this woman I'd loved so completely, so destructively, and felt nothing. Not anger. Not satisfaction. Not even pity. Just emptiness where she used to live. Emma, I said gently, you're not even in this moment. This has nothing to do with you. Everything you do has to do with me, she shouted. No. Not anymore. I turned to Maya. Can we go? She nodded, and we walked out together, hand in hand, leaving behind a room full of shocked guests and one woman who finally understood what she'd lost. We didn't speak until we were outside, city lights reflecting in puddles from an earlier rain. That was insane, Maya said, laughing and crying simultaneously. I'm sorry. I didn't plan. I know. She cupped my face with both hands, the sapphire ring catching streetlight. You don't plan anything. You just feel and act and hope. It's terrifying and beautiful and so completely you. Are you sure? I asked. About this? About us? Because I come with a lot of baggage, Anne. She kissed me quiet. I'm sure, she said against my lips. I've been sure since the moment you showed me what remains and didn't apologize for the anger in it. But your family, Emma, will get over it or won't. That's their choice. She pressed her forehead to mine. You're my choice. You've always been my choice. My phone started buzzing. Text after text. Unknown number ***, that was the most savage thing I've ever seen. Legend ***. Jake ***, dude. I saw the video. You're viral ***. Unknown number ***, Emma's crying in the bathroom. Just thought you should know ***. I turned off my phone. Do you regret it? Maya asked. Proposing to you? Never. The timing though. The drama. I considered this. I regret hurting her. But I don't regret choosing you. I don't regret refusing to be invisible anymore. Good. Maya laced her fingers through mine. Because we're probably going to be family pariahs for a while. Worth it. We walked home through rain-clean streets, engaged, exhilarated, free. Behind us, Emma's perfect party continued without us. Ahead of us, everything was uncertain. But for the first time in 2 years, I wasn't afraid of the uncertainty. I was choosing it. Choosing chaos over comfort. Choosing the woman who loved my truth over the one who needed me to lie. The sapphire ring glinted on Maya's finger as we walked. It had found its rightful owner after all. The scandal lasted 3 weeks. 21 days of social media wildfire, of opinions from strangers who didn't know us, of think pieces about public proposals and family loyalty and whether I was a romantic hero or a petty villain. Someone had filmed the proposal. Of course they had. The video went viral, man proposes to ex's cousin at her engagement party, with millions of views and thousands of comments dissecting every expression, every word, every moment. At romantic or revenge this is either the most romantic thing ever or the most savage. Can't decide. At Team Emma 2024 is a narcissist who couldn't handle her success. Red flags everywhere. At Team Liam for Eva you're really blaming him for choosing someone who actually valued him? Emma had her chance. At Drama Queen 99 imagine being Emma watching the man you discarded propose to your cousin. Chef's kiss. Beautiful karma. I deleted all my social media. Stopped reading comments. Stopped caring what strangers thought about my life. Emma called me vindictive in an Instagram story that was screenshot and shared everywhere. Her friends called me cruel, manipulative, pathetic. Said I'd embarrassed her, ruined her special day, proved I never really loved her. Maybe they were right about some of it. Maybe the timing was cruel. Maybe some part of me wanted her to hurt the way she'd hurt me. But the proposal itself? That was real. Maya and I didn't get engaged for the drama. We got engaged because somewhere between her kindness and my healing, between Thursday coffees and honest conversations and learning to paint again, we'd fallen in love. Real love? The kind that doesn't need an audience. The kind that exists in quiet moments and doesn't require validation from strangers. We decided to marry quickly, not because of the scandal, but because we didn't need time to be sure. We'd already wasted enough time being careful, being appropriate, worrying about other people's opinions. 6 months after the viral proposal, we got married at City Hall on a Tuesday morning. No ice sculptures. No champagne fountains. No gold-embossed invitations. Just us, Jake and Maya's best friend Sophie as witnesses, the clerk who'd probably seen 100 couples that week, and vows we wrote ourselves. I promise to see you, I said, voice thick with emotion. Really see you. Not who I want you to be or who you think you should be. Just you. I promise to let you create messy, angry, honest art, Maya said, smiling through tears. And to never ask you to sand down the edges of who you are. We kissed as married people while Jake whooped and Sophie cried and the clerk smiled like she'd seen something special. We celebrated with pizza in our tiny apartment, paint still on the walls from my latest piece, Maya's photographs covering every available surface. It was perfect. Emma sent a letter the day before the wedding. Maya found it in our mailbox, cream-colored envelope, her handwriting unchanged. I stared at it for a long moment. Aren't you going to open it? Maya asked. I don't think I need to. But what if it's important? What if she's apologizing? Would it matter? Maya considered this. Then she opened it herself, read silently, her expression unreadable. Well? I asked. She says she's sorry, Maya said softly. That she didn't realize what she had until it was gone. That she was scared of how deeply you felt things, how you made her confront parts of herself she wanted to hide. That Marcus is safe and stable and wants the same things she wants, but... Maya paused. She says she thinks about you when she writes. That you're still in every story. I thought I'd feel vindicated. Victorious. Some petty satisfaction at knowing she regretted losing me. Instead, I just felt sad. Sad for the girl who thought love was about winning. Sad for the version of me who believed being chosen once meant being chosen forever. Sad for all the time we wasted trying to force something that was never meant to last. Do you want to respond? Maya asked. No. I think silence is kinder than anything I could say. She nodded, folded the letter, and put it in a drawer we'd probably never open again. How do you feel? She asked. Free, I said honestly. For the first time in years, I feel free. I went back to painting the raw stuff. The painful, beautiful, honest stuff that made people uncomfortable and made me feel alive. I painted *rebirth*, a phoenix made of paint splatters and gold leaf, rising from ashes that looked suspiciously like burned museum tickets and old letters. I painted *kintsugi heart*, cracks filled with gold, more beautiful for being broken and repaired. I painted Maya in morning light not her face, but the feeling of waking up next to someone who loved my edges. Maya hung every piece in our apartment, in the gallery she'd started working at, in the coffee shop where we had our first real conversation. She never asked me to explain them. Never asked me to make them more palatable. She just made space for them to exist. Emma got married 6 months after us. I saw the photos through mutual friends, a stunning venue, designer dress, smile that looked practiced. I hoped she was happy. I genuinely hoped she'd found whatever she was looking for in that perfect, curated life. But I didn't wonder about it for long. I was too busy building something real. Maya and I bought a small studio space in Brooklyn, half gallery, half workspace. She photographed while I painted. We collaborated on projects that merged our visions. We argued about aesthetics and laughed at inside jokes and built a life that belonged to us. No more erasing myself. No more shrinking to fit into someone else's idea of who I should be. I was the artist again. Not the muse. Not the supporting character. The artist. 1 year after our City Hall wedding, we had a small show together, Honest Unfiltered, a dialogue in images star. My paintings. Her photographs. Stories of healing and truth and refusing to apologize for feeling deeply. The opening night was packed. Not with society people or literary crowds, but with artists and students and people who understood what it meant to create from a place of pain and beauty. Jake gave a toast, to Liam, who finally stopped letting ghosts paint his future. And to Maya, who loved him loud enough that he could hear it over his own doubts. We drank cheap wine and laughed too loud and watched people connect with our art in ways that felt sacred. Near the end of the night, someone approached me. A young art student, barely 20, with paint-stained jeans and nervous energy. "Your work," she said. "It made me cry." "The one with the gold cracks?" "I've been through something similar. Trying to be smaller for someone who couldn't handle my size. Your painting made me feel less alone." "That's all I ever wanted," I said honestly. "For someone to feel less alone." She thanked me and left, and Maya slipped her hand into mine. "You did it," she said. "Did what?" "You're remembered. Not for being someone's muse or someone's discarded draft. For being you." I thought about Emma's whispered confession years ago. I want to be remembered. She'd achieved it. Best-selling author. Literary darling. Her name on bookstore shelves. But I didn't envy it anymore. Because I was remembered too, not by millions of strangers, but by the people whose lives my art touched. By the woman who loved me without conditions. By the version of myself I'd almost lost. We closed the gallery late that night, exhausted and exhilarated. "Ready to go home?" Maya asked. Home. Our tiny apartment with mismatched furniture and art covering every wall. Our shared studio. Our life built on honesty instead of performance. "Yeah," I said, kissing her temple. "Let's go home." We walked through Brooklyn streets, hand in hand, paint-stained and perfectly imperfect. Behind us, the gallery lights dimmed on our shared exhibition. Ahead of us, everything was uncertain and beautiful. I'd finally stopped carrying ghosts. I'd stopped burning museum tickets and old letters and versions of myself I thought I needed to be. I'd learned the truth the burning house painting had tried to teach me that rainy Thursday. Destruction and rebirth aren't opposites. They're the same thing. And sometimes you have to burn down everything you thought you needed to become who you were always meant to be.